of Gomer and Magog seed. Today, they will be also seen to be in the German race and also the Jewish race. The modern Turkish Arabs in the Muslim world today are also of this lineage of Gomer and Magog. And according to Ezekiel 38 and 39, who will attempt to destroy the real children of Israel in the last days? It's the bands of Gomer and Magog and all his children, and the bands of Torquemada in the Bible. It hasn't happened yet. If you read it, Ezekiel 38, it talks about set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, which we talked about yesterday, Tubal, which we didn't discuss, but I got slides on it. And you'll see Gomer and all his bands, the house of Torquemada, of the north quarters, and all his bands. Many people with thee, be on guard unto them. And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith Yahuwah, that my fury shall come up on my face. So at some point in the future, the children of Japhet are going to come against the children of Israel. And they're going to try and destroy the children of Israel. And then Yah's going to step in. It's not going to let that happen. He's going to show the heathen of the whole world that he is the God of Israel, that he is the one creator. So when you read the Bible and you see the English word, the land of Israel, what does that mean? Well, we know that in ancient times, the ancient Hebrews inscribed on rock. So you can't find an Old Testament all inscribed on rock. You'll find it in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but the Dead Sea Scrolls is written in Babylonian Hebrew. It's not written in pictograph Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew. These different phases of ancient Hebrew was written in Babylonian Hebrew. And so, when you look at the land of Israel, the word is Adama, and Adama can mean a lot of different things. It can mean territory, earth, soil, land, nation, property, Adama. That's what it, in Hebrew, that's what it means. And so when you look at it, it's interesting because when you look at the movies, a lot of people, when they see King Kong, they was really mocking the kingdom of the Congo. And if you look at the apes, they have a lot of gorillas in the Congo because that's where they are. They're deep within the Congo rainforest. And so Black Panther, if you watch Black Panther the movie, you'll see that Wakanda is situated right to the left of the Nile River, or Lake Victoria. And right in the area where the Congo sits, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, and you'll see it right here. Lake Kivu, and this is actually a lake. Lake Kivu is actually a lake in Africa. In Uganda, here you see pictures of Tarzan and the Congo people. And you see African Republic of Congo, they have a lot of different apes, gorillas. So then you look at the original Bantu homeland. A lot of people say it started from the Congo Kingdom, and people just started migrating. And here goes the Congo. Here is really the whole kingdom was encompassed the Cameroon and Angola and the Republic of Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Brazzaville, then we have Zimbabwe. And you see here that the Bantu people are pretty much in the sub-Saharan part of Africa. The northern part of Africa is the Arabs. Below that is all Bantus. And then you have a little bit of the Khoisan people who are not in any way the same number as the Bantus people. So all of the Hamitic tribes you see in Africa, none of them match in terms of single tribe versus the Bantus tribe people. The Bantus are very numerous all throughout Africa, from the Mende, the Malinke, to the Kru, to the Creole, the Tende, to the Akans, to the Kwa, to the Igbos and Yorubas, and the Kikongo, the Baluba, and just going all the way down to this. And so the War of the Planet of the Apes, you see that the person that helped him have the mindset of a human was a guy named Jacobs. And if you look at the Planet of the Apes, the last movie, he was kind of like a Moses figure. Remember that? Yeah. Because in the end he died, but he let his people out from the white man. And this is the guy Jacobs, the black man. And if you look here, this is actual North Kivu, South Kivu, Rwanda, Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo. You have the Mount Reservoir, you have Mount Kilimanjaro over here, you have Mount Kenya. So where are the bulk of the Hebrews today? Does the land, a lot of Africans are now saying this, a lot of Black Africans are saying, does the land make the people or the people make the land? Does the land make the people or the people make the land? So when you look here, this is all Baptist land. And notice the green means this is all the trees and stuff. So Egypt back in the old days was lush. They had melons, they had plants, they had all these different things. But since the plagues in Egypt and everything else, it's all like desert right now. Saudi Arabia's desert, Israel's desert, Jordan's desert. But this is mountainous lands. And all this vast, lush, fertile land, the people that benefit from the land are not the people in Africa. It's the foreigners that benefit. It's almost like the curse of Israel. So in Hebrew, you have Adama, the ground, the human, Adam, first leader, first human known as Adam, man, Ish, woman, Isha, Eve, life. So when you look at the word Adam, you start with the letter Aleph. And Aleph, the word Aleph really means oxen, but in Pidgin Hebrew, it can mean strength, leader, or power. And the Bible says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Because normally a yoke is not easy. And when the oxen is pulling stuff, it ain't an easy thing for them to pull. So you see the Aleph, Israel, the servant of Yah. You see the oxen with the thing around his neck, the yoke around his neck. He's pulling something. He's doing labor. Look at the Negro. The Negro, the Deuteronomy 28 says you have a yoke of iron around your neck. There's a scene with the slaves, and you'll see even in Egypt, the Egyptians, even though that's not the real picture of the real Hebrews, they had to pull heavy objects and do things, and the taskmaster was whipping them, make sure they do it the right way, go faster and faster. So they were almost like oxen, in a sense, just trained to do labor. If you look at the Zulus, after they got defeated by the British, you see different African tribes are doing the servitude work of the colonial masters. Even here, this guy here, I don't know his name, some different Charles William. So this didn't happen to the European people. It happened to black people. And it says, I have a yoke around my neck. I am an Israelite. The Australian Aborigines went through this as well. Bible prophecy says in Deuteronomy 20:48, and therefore you shall serve your enemies, with the Lord shall send against you hungry and thirst, and naked, and put a yoke upon the iron on the neck to destroy them. So we see all throughout history, we have a yoke of iron around our neck. Even in the Pacific Islands, the South Sea Islanders, the Australian Aborigines also had a yoke of iron around their neck and related to concentration camps. Even in Papua New Guinea, people were stolen and tricked to get on slave boats, which they call the Pacific Ocean slave trade, or blackboarding. And they also helped when the British conquered their lands and the Dutch. They helped when they had the World War II over there in their area when Japan was starting to invade Australia and Papua New Guinea and gain control. And the British wasn't having that because they didn't want Japan to have control of Papua New Guinea and Australia. So they enlisted the help of the indigenous people to help them. And because the Hebrews are loving people, we love the strangers, we love the neighbors, then we help the people that would eventually oppress us. The British, they conquered, colonized Papua New Guinea, Australia, and then later the Indonesians from China. So you look at the word Aleph, means oxen, all sheep and oxen. This is the word Aleph right here. The Aleph, you have the men and you have the pig. So when you look at the slave ship, you'll see the slave ship schooner Daphne. This is in the Pacific Islands where they were capturing slaves from the South Seas, the Pacific Ocean, to be working on plantations in Australia and different areas such as Fiji and Samoa. And you'll see in Brazil, a lot of the Indians, everyone showed like pictures of the Indians. They were also forced to do labor on the plantations and in the rubber plantations until a lot of them died of disease, and they refused, and they would kill themselves, and then they had to start pulling in Negroes. And so you look at the Aleph, strength, power, chief, Aleph, oxen. The every language they say Aleph, and they have a sheep instead of an oxen. The Dead Sea Scrolls, Babylonian Hebrew, Aramaic, the Aleppo Codex, the Masoretic text, 900,000 AD. You'll see here, this is around 800 BC, how the Aleph changes from the ox picture to this. And then eventually, during the Dead Sea Scrolls, during Babylonian Hebrew, you'll see it change to right here. And so you'll see differences in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Masoretic text in terms of the different translations. In terms of King James, thy kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and thy dominion endureth through all generations, based on the Masoretic text from 1000 AD, and then the Dead Sea Scrolls says the Lord is faithful in all his words and is gracious in all his deeds. So there's variations in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Masoretic text. But nevertheless, we go from an aleph to dalet. Dalet means a door, means to move into. This is called what? Door to return. And they call it door to return because they probably believed that we would never come back to Africa. They probably believed once you got on the ships, that was it. You guys ain't never coming back. And here you see the Negro Israelites going to the ships. Then you go to the Mem, but you have the Aleph, you have the Dalet, and you have the Imam. Mem means water, chaos, blood. Here you see the Israelites being thrown on ships, go on the land ocean to the Americas. And you see hay. Hay can mean behold, a big sight to see, revealed. And of course, when you see the slaves on the auction blocks by the Europeans and people being separated from their families, that is a bad sight, but it's just an astonishing sight to see what happened to the Israelites over time. And so when you also look at the wilderness, I talked about this yesterday, it says the woman fled into the wilderness, where we have a place prepared of God that she should feed her there 1,203 square days. So that's Mimbar. So it's the Mem, the Dalet, and the Resh. So you have the water, the Mem, you have the Dalet, which is the doorway, which means to move into. Then you have the Bet, which is the house, the family, in the Ebony language, it's like a cot or a bed that you sleep on. And then you have the Resh, which means the first, the head, the beginning, the top, the master. And so there's some kind of connections. And I believe that with the time frame we're living in today, a lot of people are seeing things happening. If you look at the Bahamas, you got the Haitians fighting with the Bahamians. And you have people talking about, oh, the hurricane came because of the voodoo that was being practiced in the Bahamas. You got Dominicans against the Haitians and back and forth fighting.